Hi, my name is Joy McNine. I'm technology editor at The Banker, and I'm here with Julian Skan, who's MD at Accenture Financial Services and also heads up the FinTech Lab, Innovation Lab. So today is graduation day for Accenture's FinTech Innovation Lab, because this is the fourth iteration. So what lessons did you learn in the last 15 cohorts?
I think we learned that the challenges to execution are harder than we thought, but we also learned that the banks have not lost any energy in terms of solving those and getting on with it. I think the other thing that we have seen is that the way in which these companies need to think about being successful is not just in relation to the banks, but other players like big tech companies, investors, regulators. It's a very complex battlefield that they've got to work out how they're going to fit in.
Okay, and Accenture also released a white paper on the sort of the FinTech environment. Can you give us some high-level findings of the paper?
Sure. I mean, it starts with the investment story where the overall investment has jumped again globally to 22.6 billion invested outside the sector. The big story within that is the growth of Asia, with a quadrupling to about 4 billion invested outside the sector in FinTech. And that's predominantly driven by China and India. And those two countries have overtaken the UK as second and third behind the US in terms of the absolute amount of investment. So that's one of the big angles. I think the other thing is looking at to what extent these companies are trying to compete versus collaborate. And we've seen a natural movement from more companies competing, and then a shift towards collaboration. And in a mature market like the US, we see that 60% of the investment is going into companies who are actually collaborating. But that's contrasted with London, where still the vast majority of money is going into compete, and in Hong Kong and China, where the same is true, probably for different reasons, because in those markets the banks have less of a hold over the banking market than they do in the established markets.
Do you think that trend will continue in London, or do you think that the banks are sort of now taking a different approach?
I think we'll see the numbers restabilise in London towards more of a 50-50 collaborate compete. Not so much because of an action by the banks, but I think the numbers this year are skewed by the alternative finance sector, which is a compete in our taxonomy. That's a compete play, and to fund that type of business model, you've not just got to fund the building of the business model, you've actually got to fund the balance sheet. So the numbers are higher, and I think that is skewing the numbers.
Okay, and are you looking forward to the next iteration of the FinTech Innovation Lab?
But right now we're looking probably for a few weeks of peace, actually, because it's been so frenetic. I am. We're looking forward, actually, as we do every year, to just stopping and learning and asking, what would work to help this, this challenge happen more quickly. What can we do to help? And also from Accenture's point of view, we are now by our own rules, we can't invest in these companies during the program. But what we're going to be doing on tomorrow morning is sitting down and saying, do we want to? And we've already started investing in one of the alumni from the US program we invested in a few months ago. So the next thing for us is to say, how are we going to get directly involved?
Excellent. Thank you so much, Julian.